Can you dig it? Chi-Town.
Welcome everyone back to the channel. We are Windy City Digits. That's Vic.
We are.
Thanks for tuning in. Our usual week in review. Quite a bit to talk about this week. So we're going to try to limit it to one topic per sports team, right? So Vic, where do you want to start? Cubs, Bears, Sox, Bulls. Where do you want to start today?
Let's talk about the big Bears news first.
Okay, let's talk about the Bears. So, big news is that Roquan returns to practice without a contract. So basically, Roquan Smith ends his hold-in, as they now call it. Comes back to practicing with the squad. He says he's going to play at the final year of his contract. So what do you think?
Okay, so we listened to his press conference together, just kind of see how his mindset was, because I was definitely down on Roquan. I think you were pretty neutral on the whole situation. Wouldn't you say that?
I knew he was one way or another. I knew he was going to play game one.
Yeah. I was getting disappointed with him, and after watching that press conference, I was really impressed with how he was talking about how he's going to go about the season. What about you?
Yeah, well, we watched this prior to coming out and recording the video, and we were talking about it, how there seems to be a lot of negative press. Like the press is saying he's done, he's over. I didn't hear that at all. Did you hear that at all in the press conference?
Not one bit, man. Number 58 was positive about basically working for his homies in that clubhouse and trying to do what's best for Roquan, which means to me that he's just looking to play as good as he possibly could to benefit himself, whether that is seen in Chicago or another city. Hey, that's what every player should do.
Look, the biggest things I took away from that press conference, he sounded disappointed that they didn't get the contract done, but he didn't sound mad.
No, not at all.
He didn't go in there saying I'm done with the Bears. He didn't say that at all. He basically left it open-ended, and he said, look, I'm betting on myself, and we'll see where the season ends.
Well, what did you think about – okay, so when we were watching that press conference, there's one thing that kind of stood out to me was he talked about his relationship with Eberflus.
Yep.
All right, and where did you get out of that?
I got out of it as a guy that's still very heavily involved with the team. He's willing to give this new head coach a chance, and it seems like not just Eberflus, but Poles also. It seems like there's a good relationship there. The numbers, the business side of it aside, right? They felt like I feel like he's buying into whatever this program is, and I think the part of who wants the contract is I think he wants to be here, but he wants to get paid. But it sounds like he wants to be here.
See, what I took out of it was that he seemed to have a good relationship with Eberflus and wanting to play for him, and that Eberflus and him had a good plan about how he was going to go do that. I didn't hear him talk so much about Poles. But what I do like is that the Bears tried to. It sounds like they kept it separate in terms of the business and the coaching end of it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And. I think it shows.
Look at us, man.
Listen, I think it also shows how much how well respected he is on that team. It never. Did you feel like this was a distraction at any point during the preseason?
I was worried that it could become that way, but yeah. So I was a little worried about it.
But do you think it was a distraction?
No, I don't think it was. No, because the Bears have looked like they've been playing hard for their coach.
Yeah, and I think there's enough there to get excited. I think that it wasn't like other teams were rolling against us, right?
No, and it doesn't sound like he's saying no to the Bears down the road. It didn't sound like that one bit.
I didn't get that at all. And with the amount of money they're going to have under the cap next year, that's going to be available. And they also mentioned the franchise tag, possibly him playing under the franchise. He even mentioned the franchise tag would be a good number.
Yeah, he seemed to kind of oh yeah, I'll take that double. That'd be nice.
Yeah, like he would be like, look, if I play with the franchise tag for 1 year, um, that's top 5 money, right? You're being paid as one of the top 5 players of that position.
Yep.
So I don't know. Overall, I didn't think it was a negative thing. I'm glad to see he's back at practice.
Me too. I
Um,
liked it, man.
do you think he plays this week?
Jeez. I say no. I don't think they're going to play most of their starters this week.
Okay. Yeah, I don't
They
know
want
if
to
there's
avoid
any benefit.
injuries.
Yeah, I don't know if
Yeah,
there's any benefit to him playing this week.
I don't think so.
Okay. So
Just needs to
Roquan
get in
returns.
shape.
Yeah, Roquan returns to practice. Well, look, at least he's been at practice, right? And at least he's not going to be falling behind as far as
Practice. What are
schemes
you
and
talking
stuff
about
like that.
practice?
So,
No one
all
needs
right.
practice.
So, positive signs with the Bears. Bears keep rolling along. Roquan's back in the fold. So it sounds like they'll be ready to roll in about 10 days when the season starts. So,
Amen, bro.
all right. So, where do you want to go next?
Let's go to the Bulls.
Okay.
Let's go to the Bulls, and I am going to share my a little video of our Patrick Williams.
Your video?
It's not my video. It's from NBA Central, man. I've
Okay.
got the sound off. Do we need to expand this? Let's do that. Look at P-Dubs with the handles. Step back. Pow! Come on,
Okay.
drain. Yep. Okay, what?
So,
What do you like there?
early in his career, right when he was
Oh, look at
drafted,
that.
there were
Yeah.
a lot of comparisons between him and Kawhi Leonard.
Uh-huh.
I could totally see that in the
Look at
in this
that.
clip.
Left-handed dunk. The dunky dunks. The nice little finger roll. I mean, obviously these are all the highlights and these are his, his best shots and stuff. But what do you like? What do you like to see right here?
Look, the best part about this highlight reel here we're seeing is like it's a little bit of everything. It's shooting
Right?
from the deep, it's hitting a mid-range, it's driving to the hoop, it's step backs. It's a little bit of everything.
Oh, I know, right? It's great. Yeah, and honestly, I like the aggressiveness, at least that it shows in this video. That's what Patrick Williams needs to do for the Bulls to be successful and to have a chance at any consideration of title hopes this year. I mean, they cannot do it without a Patrick Williams that's aggressive.
So do you think he's literally the third option? Or at times could be a 1 or 2 option, you think?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, if
Okay.
they're going to start double, I think in the beginning of the year, people are going to try and double DeMar and make DeMar dish it out to other people. And he's got to be one of those main options.
Yeah.
Obviously, Zach, I think it'll be the second option. But if Patrick Williams could be a third, I'm not so worried about Vooch being a fourth option. Are you?
If
Does that take
anything
away
else,
from Vooch?
if anything else, I think this helps Vooch, right? I think this puts him in a good position to where there's a lot less pressure on him to be that third scorer.
I think
You
so
know?
too. Yeah. And I think it'll help him on the defensive end with a Patrick Williams in there because I think Vooch oftentimes was on his own a little bit. I mean, he had Javante and DJJ, but a bigger guy, Patrick Williams, to take off some of the pressure on him on defense is going to help Vooch on the offense.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the one thing I'll say about this is that I just feel like this year our offense is going to help our defense. Like I just think the better we are on offense, the more pressure it's going to put on other teams. And anyone who's played basketball knows that you expend a lot more energy on defense. So if we can keep that offensive pressure on, I think that's a good thing for the Bulls. And Patrick Williams, it looks like he really put in a lot of work this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a lot of the Bulls put in work, but Patrick Williams, if he's healthy in the beginning of the year, he's got to get to that point where if he's got to be scoring 15 points a game this year for us to be successful.
So what do you think is a good number as far as like points and rebounds for him? Like what do you think is a good target that we would need him to be at? You just
I
said
think
15 points.
Yeah, if he's got like a 15-8 game, we're doing really well.
Yeah, I think so.
And if it's better than that, that's fantastic. What do
Yeah,
you
if he,
think?
I think that as long as he provides that offensive point, I think there's certain nights he's going to have to defer to DeMar and
Yep.
Zach, right? But it wouldn't surprise me if a certain night, like he gets hot, he scores 25, 27, 28, and
Yep.
they just keep feeding him the ball. That wouldn't surprise me. But I think if that does happen, especially if it happens early, that's going to open things up big time for the offense because now you got three guys on the court you got to worry about.
And there aren't a whole lot of guys on the Bulls that jump to the offensive rebounding. So like if he cleans up the offensive boards from missed shots, that 15 points could even be better than that. So
Yeah, I agree. So
sweet.
Patrick Williams is rolling along. Um, I think training camp starts in about 3-4 weeks, maybe toward the end of September. I think. So we'll be looking forward to see what happened with the Bulls there.
That's coming around
Um,
fast, buddy.
yeah, for sure.
October
So
soon.
if you haven't had a chance yet, leave your comments what you on below what you think about the Bears, Roquan returning, and also Patrick Williams and his offseason. So we're gonna move on to the next topic here. You want to go Cubs or Sox?
Let's go Cubs because this will be a quick one.
Okay.
All right. All right.
So
So go ahead.
Contreras keeps rolling along despite being last year of his contract. You know, the biggest thing was the fact that he didn't get traded at the deadline, right? Everyone thought that, you know, it could have been a situation like Hayward, right? They could have just shut him down and not played him at all, right?
Yeah,
But
but but Hayward wasn't good.
look, Contreras also could have, to his credit, like he's rolling along, right? Like
No, you're right. He could have shut it down himself emotionally, mentally. Yeah.
yeah, but he
I
hasn't.
agree. So he's the 17th Cub with 20 plus home runs in 4 seasons. Do you
Who are
know
the other?
any do you
Who are
know
the
any
other
of the other
guys?
ones?
I'm assuming with let's see.
Take some guesses.
I'm
You're a
I'm
Sox fan,
guessing
so yeah.
I'm guessing Rizzo.
You got
I'm
one.
guessing Bryant.
You got two.
Um, I don't think Schwarber's in that list.
He is not on that list, buddy.
Yeah, because I don't think he played enough to
Yeah,
possibly
he was
make that
hurt.
list.
He was hurt too. Yeah.
Those are the only two guys I can think of off the top of my head.
All right, I'm going to unveil this list here. You got Leon Durham, Ryan Sandberg, and I put all the seasons that they got. So Durham had 5, 20 or more, Sandberg 5, Derek Lee, Andrew Dawson, Bill Nicholson, the old dude, Ron Santo 11. That's crazy. Hank Sauer, Billy Williams, and Ernie Banks both had 13. Aramis Ramirez, one of the better third basemen besides Ron Santo in Cubs history, was 7.
Yeah.
Sammy 12. I forgot about Alfonso Soriano. And then you got Hack Wilson, and then you got the recent guys. And you know what's interesting? All those guys obviously were playing at some point in time when the Cubs were good. So it goes to show you what power can do for a ball club.
Yeah, look, the guys on that list. I mean, obviously Andre Dawson was a
the
big
Hawk,
one, right?
Love the Hawk.
There's one name missing from that list that I'm kind of surprised is not on that list.
Who is it?
Dave Kingman.
Dave Kingman. Okay, a little history about him. He only played for the Cubs for 3 seasons.
Did he hit 20 each year?
Yeah, he hit 90 something home runs in 3 years.
Huh.
But he did not hit he wasn't there with them for 4 years.
Nice job there with the digits.
No problem, man. I had a little fun with that.
So what do you think happens with Contreras at the end of the season? Do you think he comes back?
I really do think he's going to be back.
Yeah.
I think something happened with Hoyer to where now he's going to sign him and sign at least 2 decent free agents over the winter. That's my prediction.
Look, I think if sometimes you listen to the fans, sometimes you don't, right? But I mean, just from a goodwill standpoint with the fans, right? He's a fan favorite, and I think he's a guy that bleeds Cubby Blue, right? He's a guy I think you have to bring back.
Yeah, you do like those guys, man, that are just in it for the team.
Yeah, like guys like Mark Grace, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Like the Sox, like Frank Thomas. Who
Paul
else would you
Konerko,
consider? Oh, Konerko, man.
right? Harold
Love me some
Baines.
Paulie.
Yeah. I mean, look, you want
Yeah,
these guys somewhere toward the end of their career. Obviously, you can understand if they get traded, the team's not doing well, and they go to a team that's a contender. You kind of understand that, right? But
yeah.
that wasn't the situation here with Contreras, right? I
No,
mean,
well, talking about contenders and an older guy, what about go to Cueto?
yeah. Well,
Talk about your Johnny.
I didn't know you were going there, but okay. So
Yeah.
Cueto is look Cueto a couple years ago, a couple weeks
Sorry for
ago.
the shocker.
Well, when you said contender, that kind of threw me off.
They're
So look,
contending, man. They're close.
a couple weeks ago, Cueto called out La Russa and the team, more so La Russa, right, and saying that this team just has no fire. There has no energy. Since then, Cueto has done his part for sure. His line last night, he shut out the Indians last night.
He was
And
impressive, man.
He went 8 2/3 innings last night. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how impressive it is. They sent him out for the 9th. You got Liam Hendricks in the pen, right? One of the top closers in the game. And you still sent him out to start the 9th inning. I don't know what that conversation was like. I don't know if he said, look, I'm going out there for the 9th. But
he's like, I got ice in my veins.
He went 8 2/3 inning, only gave up 5 hits, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, no earned runs, no runs at all, right? And he threw 113 pitches, which in this day and age is almost unheard of, right?
Yeah, about 10 years ago, that wouldn't be unheard of. But right now, yeah, absolutely. But Cueto, he's got like a rubber arm.
Whatever it is, it's working. And
well,
they need to re-sign this guy.
He is under 3 ERA. He's like 2.8 something. If the Sox did not have Cueto, where would they be right now?
Oh, they'd be way out of it.
Because who would they have as their replacement? Would they have to be pulling up a minor leaguer? They'd probably be having to pick somebody else up.
Well, the guy at the beginning of the year was Vince Velasquez.
I know.
And that guy's buried in the bullpen.
So would you say Cueto is your number 2 starter right now?
If we were going to go into the playoffs right now, I would say it's either Cease or Cueto or 1-2, or but I would say it would have to be Cease and then Cueto.
It'd have to be Cease, I think, too.
I think it's Cease, Cueto, and then if I had to go to a third guy, it's got to be Kopech. But if they went to, but knowing La Russa, he probably would end up starting Giolito at number 1. Probably Lynn.
He's just gonna do the opposite of what you think.
Yeah, look, I was kind of convinced of that at the start of the second half, right? Coming out of the All-Star break, C should have started that first game out of the break. And they need to
get rid of La Russa.
Yeah, look, the only reason I say that is because you want Cease to get as many starts as possible, right? By having him go like a week after the All-Star break, you cheated him out of maybe 1, maybe 2 more starts at the end of the season. Those 1 or 2 extra starts are going to make a difference because Giolito's been awful. He got shelled the other day. We gave him 21 runs.
That was ugly. That was terrible
to the Astros. So
that was a football score, man.
Yeah, I think they need to resign. If they bring Cueto back, our 1, 2, 3 next year is going to be Cease, Cueto, and then Kopech will be the 1, 2, 3, and then Lynn is in there also because he signed for 1 more year. I don't think we're gonna resign Giolito, and I wouldn't want to at this point.
I wouldn't either. Yeah,
so
I'd agree with that. How much gum do you think he puts in his mouth, man? Look at that wad. And what kind of gum do you think it is?
I think it's probably Big League Chew.
I think it is too, and I think it's probably a whole pack.
He probably puts in a whole pack of it, like switches the pack every inning when he goes out there.
Oh, to get that nice flavor flav?
Yeah, to get the, because that, did you?
Yeah.
We usually end our videos with some kind of food thing, right? So were you one of those guys that did you have the Big League Chew during a game? Did you have that bubble gum during a game when you played?
I always had gum. I always had gum, but yeah, I loved Big League Chew, but it wasn't always Big League Chew. It was Hubba Bubba most of the time.
Did you carry it in your back pocket?
No.
Just kept it in your bag.
Yep.
So would
Yeah.
you go through a whole pack of Hubba Bubba for a game?
No. I didn't keep on loading it in my mouth, man. We weren't that rich to have a whole ton of Hubba Bubba, man. We played enough games
You mean one of those
in high
guys that had
school.
like did you use a wood or aluminum bat?
I used wood when I in like little league,
When you
but
were
that
when
was
you were
it.
when you were an all-star baseball player at Notre Dame High School in Niles, like um did you have like the personalized bats? How many bats did you break when you had the wood bat?
I didn't play with wood bats in high school, man.
Did you play
Who
with
did who did that? I used the sombrero. I used a black yellow Easton bat 34. I had a heavy bat, man. I liked it.
in high school? I played with one guy, Corey, and Corey, if you're watching, you know what I'm talking about. He had a wood he only used wooden bats. And I remember
Cor-
one season he
uh-huh.
went through 10 bats.
That's insane. Corey probably doesn't even remember you anymore. You're so old.
Oh no, we're friends on Facebook. We talk from time to time. So
Well, that's good,
shout out
buddy.
to Corey. So
Shout out, Corey.
hey, so if you guys have any thoughts on any things we talked about today, Roquan coming back to practice, Patrick Williams, off season, Johnny Cueto, or Wilson Contreras, we'd love to hear your comments in the comments below. If you haven't had a chance yet, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell, and you get notified. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and soon to be Roku. We'll see you guys this week in our usual videos during the week. Back for Wildcard Wednesday. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace
Love.
and digits.